Now, in the meantime, the Nigeria government has unveiled its strategy in response to the alarming trend of school abductions. Amidst growing concerns over the safety of school children, Commander of the National Safe Schools Response Coordination Center of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Hammed Abodunrin, said plans are underway to train newly recruited personnel of the Corps across all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. He noted that through rigorous training and strategic deployment, the School Safety Protection Squad will serve as a formidable barrier against threats to the country's educational infrastructure. According to the commander, the initiative highlights the growing urgency to safeguard schools in the country and ensure the safety of students. Also joining me on the news now to discuss the federal government school safety initiative is a security analyst, Ahmed Musa Hussaini. Ahmed, you're welcome. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, how effective do you believe the training of the newly recruited personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps will be in preventing school abductions?
So the Safe School Initiative, it was actually an initiative of the Goodluck Jonathan administration in 2014. That was after the abduction of schoolgirls in Chibok in April 2014. So after that, there was also another abduction, a very much small-scale abduction of schoolgirls in Dapchi in 2018, and then there are other tens of abductions after that, which now tells us that the Safe School Initiative has not been effective in preventing the abduction of schoolgirls in Nigeria, because from 2014 to now, we have 10 years, of learning from such experiences, but abductions still occur. There are many factors, but I think one of the most important is the failure of leadership. Yes, we agree that there are, hundreds of thousands of primary and secondary schools scattered across northern Nigeria or the northwestern Nigeria, where this mass kidnapping has become, a very prevalent issue. But then the government has the ability to actually map out the high-risk areas and then employ adequate strategies to protect them, to ensure that students, school children, are actually adequately protected from this kind of attacks. So I think that it is actually a failure of leadership in general. And I don't think unless we become more effective, in the implementation of this very initiative, then we cannot be able to actually achieve its objectives.
So, Ahmed, do you think there are any measures that could be included in the training program to ensure that the School Safety Protection Squad is adequately prepared to handle these threats of the educational infrastructure? What will they be equipped with? Are they going with weapons, or are they just going to simply be vigilante? What exactly would be the modus operandi?
So for me, I think there are three major keys to the success of such initiative. Number one is actually, and all of these, I think two of them should be actually preventive, and one might actually be a bit protective. So the first, actually, the infrastructure, the school infrastructure has to be fortified, has to be, built with the exact, scenario in mind, that it is actually built to prevent or to make such abductions difficult actually to accomplish. But there's also the downside to it, because actually government actually, if they don't kidnap those children at school, they can actually kidnap them in their villages and their communities. So any safe school initiative that does not factor the general community, the welfare, the well-being, the security of the general community is actually not going to work. And then secondly, there's the issue of intelligence gathering and security coordination among security agencies. So sometimes actually villages on the fringes of those communities are able to actually detect movement of those criminal elements, and then they're able to report them to security agencies. But then there is the failure, or there's the inability of our security agencies to coordinate closely and actually work towards averting such tragedies before they even happen. And then thirdly, the issue of keeping and adequately funding that initiative. So we have security agencies that should actually be trained, that are participating in that initiative should actually be trained, in preventing kidnapping. They should be properly armed. They should have all the support and all the equipment that they need to make sure that those criminal abductions actually do not happen. And even if they happen, they can be able to respond very fast to ensure that they can be able to rescue those children or those victims actually within a very short time, even before the criminal elements are able to settle them or to hide them or to return to their own safe havens.
So, Ahmed, you mentioned that this is not an initiative that actually started now. It started since 2014 with the Goodluck Jonathan dispensation. Now, when you look at the amount of time it's taking for us to actually implement that currently, would you say that we might still face challenges when it comes to setting this initiative a go for all 36 states of the Federation?
Yeah, actually, if you look at 10 years now from 2014, and still school abductions are still happening. So it is we can conclude that the self-school initiative has failed, but then we have to give the President Tinubu some benefit of doubt that okay, maybe they're coming with a new plan, they're coming with a reject plan. So let's see what they have, what they are going to do. But as I said earlier, whatever they're going to do, it has to be a whole of the community kind of approach, an integrated approach that looks at the entire security architecture of those vulnerable communities. Because as I said earlier, if those criminals actually don't kidnap those guys, those kids at school, they may end up picking them up in their homes in their different communities. I've seen mass abductions of schools, even recently also of people, not just children. Even recently we have had another one in Kajura in Kaduna State. About 87 people were kidnapped, and they have not been released yet. So we have to look at how we can integrate the self-school initiative into involving the complete security architecture of those communities that are vulnerable, that are facing this kind of criminal activities. So for the government, and as I said earlier, there is need to invest in resilient security from protective infrastructure. There's the need to actually invest in intelligence gathering, and also there's need to equip and fund our security agencies and other vigilante groups adequately and ensure there is a closer coordination and collaboration among security agencies. If we don't do that, then we continue repeating the same mistake that we've been repeating since 2014, and tragedies like that, they are going to keep happening. I hope this government will prove us wrong.
So, Ahmed, from 2014, when this initiative was conceptualized up until now, we've got 10 years. Do you think that by now, 10 years after it was conceptualized, that we might have some technological inputs in the apparatus that's about to be used, having a school safety core? How's that going to affect the effectiveness of the school security measures that they're putting in place?
Yeah, actually, 10 years are enough actually for us to learn, to learn our mistakes, to identify the gaps, and to identify the vulnerabilities, to be able to map out vulnerable schools and vulnerable communities, to be able to identify and learn how those criminal elements operate, how they attack schools, how they plan their kidnapping, how they, the kind of routes that they map out that they actually use to escape, the kind of hideouts and safe havens and sanctuaries that they actually go to kill those school children. All these things. With technology today, intelligence, surveillance drones and other things, and other, kind of communications technology tools that can be done, this can actually be achieved. But then this is Nigeria, where even some of the most basic things that you expect, to be seen at the government level, you don't see it because of incompetence and corruption and other things. So that's why this is actually a very big challenge for the Tinubu administration to demonstrate to Nigerians that okay, its own self-school initiative is going to be different, because we had self-school initiative under Jonathan, we had another one under President Buhari, and now they are also rejigging it, calling it another, the same initiative. So we want to, this is an opportunity for them to prove to Nigerians that, okay, this time they're different and they mean business. And the government is committed to securing Nigerians and to ensure that no child, and no parent or no community will have to pass through tragedies such as this again.
Well, thank you very much, Ahmed. Your words bring plenty of hope to many listening throughout Nigeria. Thank you indeed.